Hold on a second. I wish someone would write a story about the pains that arise between your thighs when you thick with it. The chafe monster, perhaps. Vanessa, that's fantastic. Written by M.A. Perry. Sweat-slicked skin rubbed itself raw as Taylor's thighs chafed underneath her breezy summer dress. Fall, winter, spring, summer. It doesn't matter, she thought miserably to herself. Even in the cooler months, her thighs seemed to have a vendetta against her, creating holes in all her favorite pants. She tried every oil and lotion on the shelf to keep it from happening. Each one seemed the answer in the middle of the day when it would start. First, she'd notice her thighs sticking, suctioning off one another as they made the required pass for her legs to move forward. Then the reddening of her skin would start, followed by the inevitable sharp pain of peeled open skin sliding against peeled open skin. If the physical pain weren't enough, Taylor had suffered emotionally as well. Tears pricked the edge of her eyes as echoes of her classmates' cruel teasing, thunder thighs, reverberated in her mind. Those assholes, they didn't understand. Boys seemed to never have that problem, and the girls, they all had thigh gaps and legs so skinny they could barely be called sticks. She continued walking down the sidewalk, kicking rocks and pebbles as she mulled over a way to stop the chafing for the 1000th time. Ahead, she noticed her mom in the driveway taking in groceries. She picked up the pace and waved as she walked up the driveway. "Taylor, honey, I have a surprise for you." Her mother beckoned towards the front door. Inside, Taylor's mom brought out a needle, thread, and various types of cloth in every color Taylor could imagine. "I haven't been able to replace your pants, but I thought you could try sewing. That ought to make your pants last longer, and your classmates won't even notice the holes anymore." Taylor managed a weak grin, softly uttering, "Thanks, Mom," before taking the supplies back to her room. Learning to sew was a blessing, one that unlocked a natural talent in Taylor. After several months, her mother encouraged her to join a sewing group that patched clothes for people in need. Inspired by the thought of helping others, Taylor channeled her sewing into creating a line of nude, short-styled underwear designed to ease the pains of chafing. First, she thought, I need to find the right material. Running through her original stash of cloth from her mother, Taylor began to experiment with more. Cloth after cloth failed. Contemplating her next purchase, an idea weaved its way through her thoughts before settling front and center in her mind's eye. The material was readily available, yes, but it would be difficult to obtain. Taylor had always been a problem solver, though. With some planning, she could get it. At school that Monday, Taylor hatched her plan. When the girls teased her about her thighs, Taylor laughed and made jokes with them. She sat with them at lunch and made sure to sit next to one of the thinnest girls of all, Carrie. They used to be best friends, but like the oldest story in the book of high school, Carrie ditched Taylor after 9th grade for a circle of new girls obsessed with boys, selfies, and breaking the school dress code. Taylor hammed it up with Carrie and even smoked weed in the girls' bathroom for the first time to impress her. It was there she asked Carrie to come over. "Hey, so, I know it's been a while, but would you want to spend the night Friday night?" Carrie chortled. You mean like a sleepover? Coolly, Taylor leaned back a little. Yeah, to catch up. Maybe you can show me some makeup tricks. We haven't hung out in forever. Carrie eyed Taylor and then hit the blunt, smoothly blowing out smoke before passing. Taylor took a hit, coughing almost instantly. You suck at this. Carrie took the blunt back. Yeah, so you in? Sure, I'll just walk home with you after school, Carrie said lazily. Perfect. Taylor's voice jumped an octave in excitement. I mean, it'll be great, she smiled. Friday afternoon had come quickly. Taylor looked up from her sewing table, her eyes wandering around her small pink room. Late afternoon sun streamed through the slits of her closed blinds. The warm yellow light turned hazy by the floating dust caught midair, as if it were ensnared by an invisible spider web. Muffled crying interrupted Taylor's trance. Her eyes narrowed as she looked at the tear-streaked face of a thin girl from her class who'd had a thigh gap. Thighs that had never been chafed, skin that had never been rubbed raw. Carrie's thighs. Unfazed, Taylor leaned down to pull back the bloodied sheet lying across Carrie's lap and set to work, carefully sliding the knife into the meat of her leg. The girl's eyes squeezed shut as she screamed into the dirty, sock-turned gag covering her mouth. Her body revolted, violently bucking in an attempt to get away, but the bungee restraints Taylor fashioned held her legs firmly in place. Taylor slid the knife carefully, trying to shear off the skin in a thin layer without creating any tears or holes. Blood slipped quickly down the knife, dribbling down Carrie's legs, making it difficult to slice accurately. Taylor wiggled the sharp blade back and forth slowly, feeling Carrie's leg muscles twitch and spasm in pain against the metal inching its way through. With a final smooth motion, Taylor angled the blade up, softly releasing the skin from Carrie's thigh. She tossed the sheet back over, the already splattered fabric blooming in red once it touched Carrie's freshly butchered flesh. Cradling the newly harvested material, Taylor sat down at her sewing bench and wiped off the excess blood before maneuvering the new piece into place next to the others. Her fingers wove the needle and thread with more expertise and precision than a sewing machine. She knew this is what it must have felt like for the burning bush to be consumed by God's almighty power, to deliver the message of divinity. With the needle and thread in her hand, she could deliver salvation onto a burdened people. This would be the material. This would finally ease the pain. Bits of leftover blood and fat left a wet, gelatinous trail as she slid the completed garment over her legs. She turned, checking herself in the full-length mirror, and clapped in delight. Some might call her a monster, but she knew to be successful, you had to take risks. This could be the perfect material to use for her nude underwear line, the perfect material to end suffering. The best part was, she knew it would be available in every color she needed.